Welcome back to the channel. Now, criminal charges are expected to be laid on former Member of Parliament for West St. Mary and Chairman of the People's National Party's Founders Group, Mr. Silvera, after ballistics tests reportedly connected his firearm to the death of his wife, Melissa Silvera. And remember, a member of law enforcement arrived at the home of the Silveras and pronounced Miss Silvera dead, but said she died in her sleep. How did the officer not see bullet wounds? I'm going to hear what will continue reasoning. Look and listen.
Silvera was picked up last evening at an Upper St. Andrew house by detectives from the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Major Investigation Division, MID. He was led away in handcuffs to the MID's headquarters on Spanish Town Road, then whisked away to a police lockup in the corporate area, where he spent the night behind bars. It was initially reported that Melissa Silvera died in her sleep. However, a post-mortem later disclosed that she was shot at least 3 times. Following this development, the police questioned Silvera twice and seized his licensed firearm and his mobile phone. Extensive forensic work has reportedly established a connection between Silvera's gun and the murder of his wife, with whom he had a turbulent relationship. It's believed Melissa was gunned down at the couple's home in Stony Hill, St. Andrew. Melissa's murder has sent shockwaves through the country. Her husband, Jolyon, who's now a suspect in her murder, is a high-profile former member of parliament. Up to the point where the death of his wife was treated as a murder investigation, he was busy on the campaign trail for the PNP and has been photographed in the company of the opposition leader. Melissa was the goddaughter of former Prime Minister and ex-PNP President P.J. Patterson. Her family is highly regarded in the halls of the PNP. In a heartfelt written tribute that was included in the program at her funeral, which was held last week, Mr. Patterson grieved for Melissa, whom he described as his niece. The former Prime Minister expressed condolences to Melissa's 3 boys, but did not mention by name her husband, Jolyon Silvera. The police investigation into the murder of Melissa Silvera has led to statements being taken from several people who visited the scene after news surfaced of her demise. A statement was reportedly collected from PNP Vice President and Member of Parliament for North West Manchester, Michael Phillips. It's understood that the police also made arrangements to collect a statement from the wife of a high-profile PNP politician who visited the bloody scene when news surfaced that Melissa died in her sleep. It's not immediately clear if that statement was collected. Statements have also reportedly been collected from individuals who Mr. Silvera is alleged to have told that Melissa had passed away in her sleep while she was in his company. Jolyon Silvera is reportedly strongly denying wrongdoing. The embattled PNP politician has hired King's Counsel Peter Champagny. Champagny is expected to be at the MID headquarters Friday morning, where the police will move to undergo a final round of interrogation of his client. It's expected that Mr. Silvera will then be prosecuted and brought before the criminal court. Tana Thomas for Nationwide News.
Now, some people say this is worse than when another politician allegedly got drunk, reversed out of the venue where he was at, hit an individual who lost their lives. The MP then paid for the funeral, but no charges was brought against that politician. If you remember, these rumors are no of them. Comment in the comment section. Now, as it pertains to Mrs. Silvera, it is said that law enforcement is also investigating the officers or the officer who went to the home of the Silveras. As it is said that at the station at the time the report was made, only 2 officers was there, Sergeant and a DC. Now, it is said that no one officer should be left at the station alone. Neither should a single officer respond to a distress call. Him no know where I go to. Why him alone would I go? This is police protocol, not common sense protocol. This is something that they are told in training. For whatever reason, that instruction was disregarded. The DC was left at the station alone. Anything could happen. People could have escaped. Whole heap of things could happen. This officer went to the location alone. Now, we don't know if it's because he did it alone And this is the home of a prominent individual. He never looked for telltale signs. Was it a scenario where the crime scene was clean up? Them say, it's a law enforcement that say, ballistic reports or ballistic tests were done and the reports connect Mr. Silvera's firearm to the death of his wife. Recently, Mr. Silvera was seen in tears at his wife's funeral. Attorneys representing Mr. Silvera said Mr. Silvera was distressed at the fact that there were accusations being made in the public space. People believed he had something to do with the death of his own wife, and that him that wonder why his own children would think about things like this. And keep in mind, the police are always suspected foul play. It was the police who ordered the autopsy, as is always done, which is protocol as well. It was law enforcement or people there, sources there, that notified the media that the autopsy result is not what was said. It was initially stated in the media that Mrs. Silvera died in her sleep. When the autopsy results were released to law enforcement, it somehow was released to the media. And the media pointed out that no, she did not die in her sleep, but they're calling it murder. Now, them also point out that this man and this woman were married for years. Them have children together. What kind of wickedness this? We hear the state talk about domestic violence. And the fact say, things need to be put in place. Only to hear that a former politician committed or allegedly committed this level of domestic violence. Now, what is also said is that during the investigation, a statement was reportedly collected from the PNP's vice president and member of parliament for North West Manchester. Why that was almost a statement given to the media, we don't know. And then the media, when they say reportedly collected, it's basically their way of saying allegedly. Them don't really have concrete proof. This is what them hear. But remember, them are hear from the same people who tell them, say, yes, she did not die in her sleep. Them are hear from the same people who say, yes, they are taking Mr. Silvera's weapon for ballistic testing. It is now the same individuals who are saying that reports have connected the firearm to the death of Mrs. Silvera. Now keep in mind, they are still not saying Mr. Silvera did it. They are saying his weapon did it. What people are wondering is, the night and when this took place, when the officer arrived, who was at the home? Was Mr. Silvera there? If he never did it, and him firearm did it, well, people would have questioned that. The whole reason of going through the steps and the process of getting a licensed firearm is for protecting self and family and valuables, property, in the event of a situation like that. So some people are probably say, why him would have him licensed firearm at home while him a travel somewhere else? Well, if the scenario is the situation where he must overseas, well, naturally him don't need the firearm. Common permit would not permit you to travel with a firearm from your country of origin to somebody else's country. Then they said that Mr. Silvera was worried about what the family would have thought of hearing stories speculated upon by the media. No, with ballistic reports matching his firearm to his wife's death. And them say them collect statements from other elected officials. What people will know the family as. These are prominent members of Jamaican society. They must have friends. Them no must know what I go on do. which is the truth of it. You ever watch movies about wealthy individuals? It's almost like there's two sides to their kind. They have one side show to the public, they have another side only seen by a few. So even if there was trouble in the marriage, for whatever reason, unless it was a close confidant where maybe one of them would have talked to, maybe even people who know them would know, say, you know, them not happy together. But talk to me in the comment section. Tell me if you were new development in Mrs. Silvera's case. Seeing that Mrs. Silvera was recently laid to rest. Condolences to the family, of course. And now it is being alleged that her husband was seen in tears at her funeral. His firearm matches the ballistics report to the death of his own wife. These allegations, the ballistics reports matching. Talk to me in the comment section. Until the reason again, my sentiments for you and yours, I want to live, love, and prosper. I want to stay tuned.